Hare Krishna, dear devotees. First of all, I'd like to apologize on behalf of ISV. We had some logistical difficulties, and that's why we are starting the program a bit late. Thank you again for joining, taking time from your busy schedule and joining the Wednesday spiritual discourse, the class on Bhagavad Gita. Today's topic is going to be the most confidential knowledge for the non-envious. That is going to be the topic for today. Before we start the topic, I would like to take care of something online. We do make sure we have our YouTube and Facebook visitors. They're able to view the class. I will do a couple of quick things and we'll come back to this class. So before we start the class, we'll do a small kirtan, very dear to our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, and then followed by Mangalacharan prayers, and then we go to our topic for today's discussion. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Rajajanaranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Rajajanaranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now we'll be going through our Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। This Mangalacharan prayer, as the name suggests, is for Mangal, for auspiciousness of the class that we are going to give. It gets us the blessings of our previous Acharya. Now we will go to the topic of today. So the today's topic is the most confidential knowledge for the non-envious. So this is actually picked up from the chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita. And just to give you some background, how Lord Krishna is describing this to Arjuna, let us give some background. What happened in Bhagavad Gita, right, until now. So, in the battle of Mahabharata, which happened around 5,000 years back, between two cousin brothers, between 5 brothers on one side, who were on the side of good, called Pandavas, and the 100 brothers on the other side were evil, led by the evil prince Duryodhan, called Kauravas. And when the battle started, on the 10th day of the battle, on the side of Kauravas, their commander, supreme commander-in-chief, Bhishmadev, he fell down due to the arrows of Arjuna. Now, when he fell down, then Sanjaya came running to Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra was not really interested although Sanjay could see what's going on in the battle due to the vision he got from Ved Vyas, Dhritarashtra was not interested in listening to what's going on in the battle because he was rest assured that on this side, on the side of Kauravas, that is his sons, there is Bhishma Pitama, and he had a boon from his father that he can die at his will. So nothing will happen to him. So on 10th day, when Bhishma Pitama fell from the chariot due to the arrows of Arjuna, then Arjuna, by the way, is one of the prince on the side of Pandavas. Sanjay came running to Dhritarashtra and said that Bhishma Pitama fell down. And then Dhritarashtra was really shocked, and that's when the Mahabharata starts. He asked these questions in the battlefield. My sons and the sons of Pandu, they gathered together. What did they do? His actually import was to ask, why, how come this Pitama failed? Right? What did they do? And then Bhagavad Gita, begins from there. It starts basically by the Sanjay's description of, because he was really enamored by what he saw, the form of Krishna, and the complete dialogue that happened between Krishna and Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. He was completely enamored by that. And so therefore, he did not really start from where the battle started. He actually started from the discussion, the spiritual discussion that happened between Arjuna and Lord Krishna, and how Lord Krishna is relieving Arjuna from his dilemma. The dilemma for Arjuna was whether he should fight this battle or not fight this battle. That's how the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita starts. Arjuna's, and kind of continues in the beginning till the beginning of second chapter. And Arjuna gives many reasons. They were all valid reasons as per the scriptures. But he was also forgetting his own prime duty as a Kshatriya, that whatever situation comes, a Kshatriya is supposed to face it and fight the battle to protect the religious principles. That's the primary. So every occupation like Brahmana, then Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras, every one of those occupations are governed by a prime directive. So prime directive for Kshatriya is never show your back in the battlefield. If a battle comes to you, you must fight the battle to protect the religious principle. Similarly, for Brahmanas, it is you must always be honest. You should be truthful. Right? For Vaishyas, it is to protect the cows and to business. Okay? But everything related to the protection of the cows. And Sudras is, of course, the most prime directive is you should be loyal to your master. Right? So these are the prime directives. So Arjuna was forgetting, he was a Kshatriya. He was forgetting his prime directive. Because of his attachments, he picked up to his martial teacher, Dronacharya, and his grandfather, Vishnudev. And almost all of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna is trying to break that attachment to him and kind of trying to lay the truth that, and again in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying, Arjuna, arm with yoga and fight. So when we hear the word yoga, we often know, you follow some regulatory principles, you learn how to do asanas, you learn how to do the breath control, the pranayam, right? How to control your senses, pratyahar. Then you have to dharan, you have to assume an object of devotion to which you have to focus your attention, that is dharana. Then dhyan is when you have to really focus. And then finally, of course, the samadhi, meditation. That's how we know as yoga, right? And even if we understand yoga as like the connection we have with the Lord Sri Krishna, then also what is the connection? Why Lord Krishna keeps telling Arjuna that armed with yoga fight? So the basic message Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna is, Arjuna, you are not the only one related to all these people. The people that had come many times, many lives in the past, the people who will come many lives in the future, and people who are all there, they are all connected to me. So he is actually giving, Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna the what is called the Sambandha Gyan. Even I am worried. I am actually more worried than you. So don't worry. I will take care of them. I will take care of all of them in this battlefield. They're all connected to me. So don't worry and do your duty. Fight, which is fight. That's what he meant. Because when we understand that although we have attachment to many things, material things in the world, they ultimately all belong to Krishna, and therefore Krishna will take care of them. All our worries go away. We at that time simply engage in our duty. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. So, chapter second, Lord Krishna gives, it's a mixture of karma yoga, little bit of bhakti yoga is there, little bit of jnana yoga is there. But essentially, Lord Krishna is trying to say, Arjuna, that you have to engage in your duty in a very detached fashion, offer the results to me, right? Regulate your senses, and then you will reach the ultimate, which is basically nirvana, right? Which is moksha, kind of nirvana, moksha. Right? So you will remember me and you will get nirvana. So in the beginning of third chapter, Arjuna then asks, oh, so if you want me to do that, then why this ghastly warfare where so many people will be killed? Right? Because it was a big war. The battle of Kurukshetra was very big. If I give you an idea about the number of people who died in that battle, you will be shocked. Right? Almost the entire Kshatriya race of this planet Earth was wiped out in this battle. Ved Vyas, after the battle ends, he takes an account from Yudhishthir Maharaj, because after the battle, of course, the Pandavas won because Krishna was on their side. Ved Vyas says, how many people died? And Yudhishthir Maharaj keeps account of that. He says around 1.5 billion. That's the number he gives. Imagine a war where the total number of soldiers, or the kings, Maharathis, big warriors who came and fought that battle, which was fought for 18 days. How many people died? 1.5 billion. Right? A lot of people died. So, but Lord Krishna is looking at the soul inside those bodies. That is the connection, because that's eternal. Lord Krishna is eternal. His body is eternal, his soul is eternal. And so his connection is with the eternal, the soul. And he takes care of them. Most of them who died in that battlefield, they were all liberated. So in the beginning of third chapter, Arjuna asked that question, right? Why I should fight this battle? And then for the third chapter, Lord Krishna gives the principles of karma yoga, right? You have to do your duty in a way that you build the connection to Lord Krishna. That's third chapter. In the fourth chapter, Lord Krishna explains the transcendental knowledge. Not physics, chemistry, those are all material knowledge. They are not transcendental. They're infected with the modes of nature, right? Ignorance, um, goodness, and passion. Right? So even the karma kanda knowledge, right? That is in Vedas, they're also in the mode of goodness. right? There are many other knowledges, even in Vedas, they are in the mode of goodness. But that Lord Krishna here talks about transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge is, and he says in lays the land in fourth chapter that the primary means of gaining that knowledge is to sacrifice. And there are different types of sacrifice. There are people who sacrifice, their mind, the people who sacrifice the sense objects, right? So different ways, but the ultimate purpose is to gain the transcendental knowledge. And then in the fifth chapter, he says, now, once you have this transcendental knowledge, how you should act. Okay, that's the fifth chapter. In the sixth chapter, Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to focus. So he is actually giving a practice. So here, Lord Krishna is telling about Ashtanga Yoga, like how to do that, how to meditate. Now, here Arjuna objects that it is not so easy to control the mind. What you are telling is not very practical, Lord Krishna. But Lord Krishna says, no, through practice you can do it. The reason why Lord Krishna brings up the topic of Ashtanga Yoga is because, remember, in the first chapter, Arjuna was saying that I will leave everything and I will beg. Actually, he was alluding to that he will become a sannyasi. But Lord Krishna is saying sannyasis are not about just begging. They have to learn how to control their mind, which you are describing as something as difficult as controlling the wind. That's what you have to do if you become a sannyasi. That is the primary objective of a sannyasi. He has to learn how to control the mind. And Arjuna says, no, I cannot do it. So indirectly, Lord Krishna is giving a hint to Arjuna, the path you are thinking you are going, right, without fighting, is not going to work for you, because you can't, you yourself is saying that you can't control the mind. So how will you become a sannyasi? Right? So that's sixth chapter. In the seventh chapter, then Lord Krishna says, these yogis, what do they ultimately realize? And they realize that everything ultimately came from Lord Krishna. This whole world which we are saying, right, made of gross matter, the five elements, and then something between these five elements and the other energy of the Lord, the living entities, is an interface, which are also part of the material world, the mind intelligence, and the false ego, the ego which tells that I am this body. These three things are actually material in nature, and the interface between the soul or jivatma and the other five elements. So everything, and then all of this thing actually came from Lord Krishna. That's what the yogis realize ultimately. And that's how, the knowledge of the absolute truth go. Towards the end of the seventh chapter, Lord Krishna says that he is Brahma and he ultimately enjoys all the results of karma. He is that Lord who is supposed to be remembered when you leave this world, if you want to reach the ultimate supreme destination. So he mentions some 4 or 5 topics, and that is what becomes the 8th chapter. 8th chapter is attaining the supreme. Right? So here you get the knowledge, but then how you attain the supreme. And that is where you need to know all that. Right? All those, what is Brahman, what is the self, what are creative activities, you have to know all that. Because why you have to know all that? So that you can focus on the right thing. Because you have to make a choice. This material world that we are in is all about making choices. We have to make choice. So here, you have to first understand what is the most important thing, which is to ensure that when you leave this body, you must remember Krishna. And to do that, you have to understand what you should not remember. and what you should not focus. And that is why all these descriptions. And you have to and you have to also understand how those all the other things are also related to Krishna. But then the most important thing out of that is therefore to remember the source itself, which is eternal and transcendent, which is the form of Lord Krishna. Remember Lord Krishna. Okay. And how you do that? You do that by remembering him all the time. Because this material world, Daiviya Gunamaya, Mama Maya Duratya, Lord Krishna is saying that this material energy of mind, this Devi Shakti, is very, very powerful. It's very hard to overcome. So it is very easy for us to get diverted in this world and not remember Krishna. Therefore, we have to take shelter of Krishna and always remember him. Right? Because when you, at the point of death, the only thing works out of all your sense organs is your mind. Nothing else works. You can't hear, you can't see, you can't smell, you can't taste. Nothing happens. Nothing. No touch. And the process of death, which, unless you are facing a very ghastly death, like an accident or something, right? Traumatic death. The normal process of death takes around 30 minutes to an hour. The body becomes silent, but the process of death is going on in the body. All those past memories you're going through, your soul is seeing all that, and it's like a flashback, and then leaving the body. Right? So in that whole process, only thing you can do at that point is, remember your mind and vision. That's the only thing working. So you have to remember Krishna. And how do you do that? As I was telling, because the material world is so strong, so powerful, that it creates so many attachments to the soul, it's very important that we remember Krishna all the time. Right? And that is what Lord Krishna is advising Arjuna. Yeah? 8th chapter, 7th verse. Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Lord Krishna is saying it is without doubt, no doubt. But the burden is on us that throughout the journey of our life, in everything we do, you have to keep Krishna in our mind. Otherwise, this material energy, this Devi Shakti is very, very strong. It can easily take you out of, the remembrance of Krishna. So once we do that, so that's the main message of the 8th chapter, right? But then the question comes that we all know that Krishna is in the temple, right, in his deity form. There are scriptures. There are such wonderful pastimes he performed in Vrindavan. It's so sweet that once a person hears, he should not like to hear anything or see anything else. But because we are so attached to the objects of this material world that our mind naturally diverts. Right? So, and that is the knowledge Lord Krishna gives Arjuna in the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge. And then that knowledge will stick to a person's mind only if that person is not envious of Lord Krishna. And when we say someone is not envious of Lord Krishna, what does it mean? It means actually it is a big thing. And we'll go through the 9th chapter now, and we'll understand that that is what Lord Krishna is saying, that a person who understands that everything is either Krishna or Krishna's energy, if we understand that, then when we are saying that we are not envious of Krishna, it also means we are not envious of Krishna's energies. We are not envious of Krishna's decisions. That means that includes everything, the living entities, the mountains, the earthquake, the volcano, right? The tsunami, it's all Krishna. Simply because they trouble you, you cannot be envious of them. So actually, Lord Krishna is asking, based on what we are so steeped, it's not a very big thing for a pure devotee, but at least for a person like myself, it's a big thing. Because when I get troubled in my material life, I always ask this, Lord Krishna, I had been chanting 16 rounds for so many years. I'm following, I'm trying to follow the regulative principles. Why this trouble for me? And that question is a sign of my envy towards Krishna. So once we reach that state of non-envious nature, non-envious to Krishna means non-envious to Krishna and everything that comes out of Krishna. Because you cannot separate all those things from Krishna. When we reach that state, we really understand the purport, the ninth chapter. Until then, we should at least know what Lord Krishna is saying in ninth chapter. So, what I'm going to do, most confidential text from Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yajñātvā mokṣayesya shubha rajavidya rajaguhyam pavitramidamuttamam pratyakshavagamam dharmyam sushukam kartumabhyayam अश्रद्धधाना पुरुषा धर्मस्याशा परन्तपा अप्राप्य मां निवर्तन्ते मृत्यु संसारवर्त्मानि मया ततम् इदं सर्वं जगद् अव्यक्तमूर्तिना मत्स्थानि सर्वभूतानि न चाहं ते स्वावस्थिता न च मत्स्थानि भूतानि पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् भूताभृन्न च भूतस्थो ममात्मा भूतभावना यथाकाशा स्थितो नित्यं वायु सर्वत्र गो महान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीति उपधारया सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेया प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकाम् कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजामि अहम् प्रकृतिं स्वाम् अवस्थव्या विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्रामम् इमं कृष्णम् अवसं च कृते वसा न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवद् आसीनाम् आसक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृति सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते अवजानन्ति मां मूढा मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावम् अजानन्तो मम भूता महेश्वरम् मोग आशा मोग कर्माणु मोग ज्ञान विचेतस राक्षसीं आसुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिता महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिम् आश्रिता भजन्ति अनन्या मनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढाव्रता नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चापि अन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञा स्वधाहम् अहम् औषधम् मन्त्रोऽहम् ये वाज्यम् अहम् अग्निरहं हुतम् पीताहम् अस्य जगतो माता धाता पितामह वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कार भिक्षामयजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभु साक्षी निवास शरणं सुहृत् प्रभव प्रलयस्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपामि अहं वर्षं निगृह्णामि युत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्युश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुना त्रैविद्यमां सोमपापुतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नान्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान् ते तां भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालम् हीन पुण्यमत्या लोकं विशन्ति एवं त्वधर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं काम काम लभन्ते अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जना पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् ये अपि अन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विता ते अपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति अविधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु माम् अभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्य ते यान्ति देवा व्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रता भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तत् अहं भक्ति उपाहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मना यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत् तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्वापदर्पणम् शुभा अशुभा फलैरेवं मोक्षयिष्ये कर्मबन्धन संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपश्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु नामे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रिया ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि तेषु चापि अहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते माम् अनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्या सम्यग्व्यवसितो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वतशान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्तेया प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्ता प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य ये अपि शिवपापयोनया स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्रास् ते अपि यान्ति परां गतिम् किं पुनर्ब्रह्मणा पुण्या भक्तराजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु आत्मानं मत्परायण. Yes. So these are all the Sanskrit verses. We will now like to read also the English translations. Not many people will be conversant with the Sanskrit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, a conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation." So just a summary of what Lord Krishna is saying from verse 1 to verse 5. The first thing is saying that he's telling this to Arjuna because Arjuna is not envious of Lord Krishna. And, and he's saying that, of course, when you have this knowledge, then your miseries of material existence will go away. In Sanskrit, it is saying Ashubha, Mokshasya Ashubha. So anything Ashubh, you'll be liberated from that. This knowledge is the king of education. So here he is saying that this knowledge is not something you speculate on. This is, you practice this knowledge. And it is simple. It gives you direct experience of that happiness, that eternal happiness. And it is joyfully performed, right? It is not something, you have to kind of put a lot of, stress in your mind to understand, logically, all that. You take this knowledge, you practice it joyfully with complete faith, and then you liberate yourself from all the miseries of material existence. It's the highest form of knowledge. So he's telling, because most of the time when we think of knowledge, we think of something that needs to be understood. We read it, we understand, we analyze it, we go deeper. That's how we understand knowledge, right? That how the various things, various aspects, other aspects of knowledge is related to the knowledge in question, how they're related. That's how we understand knowledge. But here Lord Krishna is saying this knowledge is different. This knowledge is something you have to practice. And when you practice, you have a direct experience of that knowledge, right? The other aspect is saying that when you practice this, what do you see in that knowledge? What do you experience? You come to know that everything in this world is actually a emanation from Lord Krishna. He is there everywhere in this world in his impersonal form. But he himself is separate from it. He has its own separate personal existence. Through his mystic opulence, through his yogic powers or mystic power, he is sustaining the complete creation. Now, this is going to be a big shock to a person who is envious. Because envious person means he's envious of something. It can be abstract, some kind of philosophy. You can be envious of some philosophy also. You can be envious of certain kinds of ideas. You can be envious of person, right? Uh, and their possession, right? So here Lord Krishna is saying, so it's a big trouble to have this knowledge for an envious person is a big trouble actually. Why? Because here Lord Krishna is saying everything belongs to me. Everything came from me and pervade everywhere and everything belongs to me. So here an envious person understands that everything belongs to someone, but then that person cannot be seen because he is present in everything as in impersonal form. So it's a big trouble for an envious person. Whom am I really envious of? Where is he? Where is that person? Right? And it belongs, everything belongs to him. So that is why this knowledge is, if someone is not envious of Krishna, and that means even Krishna's energies, they can immediately become faithful to this knowledge and they can practice it joyfully and they get direct experience of the ultimate truth. But if you are envious, then either of Krishna or of Krishna's various emanations, if that means this whole world, the people here, then you'll have, it is possible that your faith may get shaken. And when your faith gets shaken, that is what Lord Krishna is saying, those who are not faithful in this devotional service, they cannot attain Lord Krishna. They go back to the path of birth and death. Verse 6. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. So here Lord Krishna is giving an analogy so that we can understand what he's trying to say. Right? The sky does not move, sky is always there. Wind moves here and there. Similarly, the living entities, taking 8.4 million, forms of life, they take birth again and again. They transmigrate. Right? So, but the foundation, basically, his impersonal expansion is always there, which is nothing but Brahman. Right? That Brahman is always there. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. The whole cosmic order is under me, and under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at that end. So, here he is now explaining how he is present in this world. Okay? How he is, whatever he said before is further expanding on it, and how he is present. Right? And how he creates, how he destroys. And for all that, what is required is only just his will. He doesn't have to make any extraneous effort. For Dhananjay, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as the neutral. We create an app and we get attached to that app. Lord Krishna created this whole universe, all these living entities, either directly or indirectly. But he is not attached. That's what he's saying. All this work cannot bind him. He is not attached. Because he is not doing this to gain fame or gain power or beauty or anything. He already has everything. And yet he is also all renounced. That is one of the opulence of Lord Krishna. Right? So he is all renounced. Nothing binds him. Right? He is never attached to any of his creation or pastime. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Someone may ask this question, hey, I see only material nature acting. So what do you mean by you are creating, you are destroying? So here Lord Krishna is therefore clarifying such scientific-minded people that yes, material nature is acting, that is true. But how is it acting under my direction? That is what it now ties to the verse 8, where he's saying, my will. So his will is accepted by the material nature, and that is how material nature is creating in this one. So people like us, they can only see material nature creating and destroying. But under whose will? That is hidden from us. Right? That is Lord Krishna. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that. Right? So people often think, oh, Krishna is a very powerful person. He had, all Asta Siddhis. He had all kind of power, and that's why he could, lift the mountain and all kinds of, speculations they do. Right? So every extraordinary thing he did, he actually did all that to prove to this class of people that he is actually not human being. His form, he came in the human form, but he is not human being. He is transcendental. He is the Lord of all that being. Anything that you see, he is Lord of that. Everything came from him. But those people, however hard he tried, those people would not just accept. Right? When he came to Lord Krishna, went to with the message of peace from Yudhishthir Maharaj, he went to the court of Dhritarashtra, where Duryodhan was there, the son of Dhritarashtra. And when Lord Krishna, he was tried to bind the Lord Krishna with his prison guards and rope. And then when the Lord Krishna showed his, one of his opulent form, then he got scared. But the others like Bhishma, Drona, they understood this is Vasudev. The same Vasudev, same Lord Narayan, the same Supreme. Right? And they all bowed down to him. But Duryodhan he was fearful, that's it. And when he left, he said, oh, that's just his, he's a magician, basically. He showed something, scared me, and then he left. That's the problem with this kind of fools. And however hard the Lord tries, they still would not accept. It is the supreme Lord of them. But what is the result of those people? In verse 12 is saying, those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. In the deluded condition, what all they lose? They lose liberation, they lose the result of their fruitive activities, and anything they want to gain by culture of knowledge. Nothing they gain. They are attracted by, the first thing happens, they're attracted by demoniac and atheistic views. Because they're attracted by these views, therefore, none of these things yield any result for them. Right? So they fall completely under Maya. But, O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So in the verse 12, the people mentioned in verse 12 and people mentioned in verse 13 is just one difference. Right? The verse 12, the people, they do not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. In verse 13, these people accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Only difference is that, but it's a very big difference. Because in verse 13, those who accept, they're always under the protection of divine nature. They're never attracted or bewildered by this demoniac and atheistic views. But in verse 12, they are attracted by these demoniac and atheistic views because they don't accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. It's a continuation of verse 13. What kind of activities these great souls do? Right? They chant glories of Lord Krishna. and they endeavor with great determination. They bow down before me. Determination means not material determination, it is spiritual determination. To bow down before Lord Krishna, and these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Now, apart from these devotees, there are also people, others, who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form, his Virat form. There are people who worship Lord like that. But Lord Krishna is saying that in that practice also, but it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. So there also he is present in the things and the people that are engaged in that process of sacrifice. I am the father of the universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. Like the impersonalists, they focus on this Om, the Pranava. Right? He's saying, I am that Om also. And also, he is also this all the scriptures. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurveda. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. So, for people who are engaged in this sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, this is a message to those people that how they can think of Krishna, that how Krishna is present everywhere in every activities they do. Arjuna, O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Now he is talking about the people who do karma kanda, right? To go to heavenly planets. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice seeking the heavenly planets worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delight. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. So, Lord Krishna is saying here that this class of people, the karma kandi, whose main goal is they think that there is nothing other than Vedas, the karma kandas of Vedas. You will enjoy here or you enjoy and then do karma kanda, go to heavenly planets and enjoy there. That's what the life is. There is nothing else other than that. Right? For them, because they are in that conception, they follow that practice. Therefore, they achieve repeated birth and death. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Right? So here, Lord Krishna is saying that the devotees, okay, who meditate on Lord Krishna, they don't, it's always plus for them. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. It is never a minus, like in the those who do the study the Vedas and bring Soma, they go to heavenly planet. It's a plus when they go to heaven and become minus and come back to earth and keep going plus, minus, plus, minus. That's what is happening. In case of the devotees, it is always plus, 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 right? Why? Because he carries what they lack. So that's the plus. And I preserve. So there is no minus, right? So they always keep adding. In the beginning, those pluses may be a little bit material, but soon devotees realize that it is not worth it. Having those pluses in the material world and then, always be worried, it's not worth it because ultimately everything comes from Krishna. And that is where the ultimate bliss is. So let's all leave these things. Just do our minimal duty and focus on returning there, where we don't have to worry about all this plus and minus. Right? Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. So, the devotion, it's not necessary that it has to be to Lord Krishna. You can be devotees of other gods. There are many great devotees of Goddess Kali, Lord Shiva, right? You must have heard them, right? But they worship those gods as those gods being separate from Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. They see their existence as something separate from them. And that is what Lord Krishna is saying. They do so in a wrong way. They don't understand. So I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. You go to the other gods and then you fall down. And that is what he's explaining. In the next verse, what does he mean by fall down? Those who worship the gods, demigods, will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. So, if one offers me, and then he's saying how to worship Lord Krishna, it is not so difficult actually. What is most important that you should have love and devotion. Once you know that he is the source of everything and is tirelessly doing this kalpa after kalpa, with all the abominable actions we are doing is still in our heart directing us, then you automatically become grateful to that super soul, to Lord Krishna. Because how can you have a friend better than that? He's always there. And when you are grateful, at least from that gratitude, with love and devotion, when you offer even a simple leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, Lord Krishna is saying that he accepts it. And then further he's saying, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. That's a sign, because love and devotion, Lord Krishna is saying you have to also demonstrate that through your action. And that is the action, basically. When you do these things, right? When you, whatever you're eating, whatever you're doing, or offering or giving away, austerities you're performing, when you're offering all that as an offering to Lord Krishna, that is how you're demonstrating your love and devotion. In this way, you will be freed from the bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me, this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So, you will be, that bondage to work, which is auspicious and inauspicious results will go away. So not just inauspicious, even the auspicious results will go away. You all remember that. So everything goes away, all the bondage goes away. And then you go back to Godhead in the language of Srila Prabhupada. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Such people are friend to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna is also friend to them, always trying to. So friend, one of the key definitions of friend is what? A friend in need is a friend indeed. We say that, there is a saying in English, right? So Lord Krishna, when you are in difficult situation, if you remember him, he is there. He's always there. This life is there, next life is there, always there, because he is there in your heart as super soul. So he's always there. So, but if you have to render service in devotion, he's always there as a, there helping you whatever you want to do. But as a true friend, if you want to accept him, then you have to render the service to him in devotion. And he's saying he's not envious to anyone. Even the demons who get killed by Lord Krishna or his various expansions, they get liberation. So there's an interesting story that happens in in the battle between Lord Ram, right, and Ravan. So the battle happens. At the end of the battle, um, Indra is asked to, sprinkle Amrit, the nectar, of immortality. And when he does that, then surprisingly, all the um, monkeys, they get up, but none of the demons they get up. So he's being asked that why that happened. So Lord Ram said that all these demons, when they fought on the other side. Therefore, their face, they saw me when they were dying. And therefore, they all got liberated. So although they were demons, they got liberated. Of course, the monkeys were also devotees. But Lord Ram was making the point that because even though they were demons, because they fought and they were looking at me, when they died, they got liberated. The same thing happened in the battle of Kurukshetra. All the soldiers on the other side, because they were seeing Krishna, they got liberated. Right? So he is not envious to anyone. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. Now, a devotee should not take it as an excuse to commit abominable activities. What he's trying to say, Lord Krishna, is that accidentally, if it happens, that is what Lord Krishna is saying. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Sudras workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary world, temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. The Lord Krishna is saying that it does not matter whatever the birth of a person is. That simply does not matter. If someone goes to Lord Krishna and serves Lord Krishna in with love and devotion, okay, then they get the supreme destination, which is Golokdham, from where you never come back. Right? You don't come into this world of birth and death, right? Which you do if you worship other gods. Right? That is what Lord Krishna says before. So that is why the final thing is saying, engage your mind in always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, and when you do all that, what will happen? You will be completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. So Lord Krishna in this 9th chapter, he's giving that confidential knowledge to Arjun, what he mentioned in the 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter, Lord Krishna mentioned, remember, that do to Arjuna that you keep doing your fighting, but also remember me all the time. And then you will come to me. So he is now giving practical steps we can take so we can remember him always. And this is what he's saying. Always think of me. And he is going to further elaborate in this aspect of always in thinking of me in the 10th chapter when he's going to describe his opulences. He will say, hey, the sun and moon are my eyes. I am the taste of water. And many other things he will say in the 10th chapter, the opulences of the absolute. That's the name of the 10th chapter and the next chapter. How can you always think of him? And when you think of him and then become his devotee, right? And then offer obeisances to me and worship me. Naturally, you will then offer obeisances to Lord Krishna, worship because he's a great personality, you will come to know, right? And when you do that, then you will be completely absorbed in him. and then naturally you will come to go back to Lord Krishna. So that's the end of ninth chapter. Let me quickly check if there are any comments or any questions from anyone. I see one Sunil Prabhu has joined. Um, but let me quickly check. Hmm. Okay. Amit Prabhu and Rajendra Sunil Prabhu, they are saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Saying that in Facebook we don't have any comments. Okay. No, I don't see any comments here anywhere.
Hello, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Haribol. Prabhu, I'm Sunil. Hello?
Yes. Haribol Prabhu.
Haribol. Haribol. Yeah. So coming to chapter 9, right? So chapter 9 is more about Bhakti Yoga, right? Chapter 9?
Chapter 9 is actually confidential knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Bhakti Yoga, by the way, is actually from the 7th chapter,
Mm-hmm.
12th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
That all of that is Bhakti Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
From chapter 1 to chapter 6 is mostly
Karma.
focused on Karma Yoga.
Yeah.
There is a bit of Dhyana Yoga also there. Then the 13th chapter to 18th chapter is focused on Jnana Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, in your sandwich, the actual, the delicious thing is always in the middle, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the chapter 9 is little hard, to digest. You said it's a confidential, some looking. It's like how we connect with Krishna, right? Real internally, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually ninth chapter, Lord Krishna. If you ask me to do a summary, he's saying that it is a although the chapter of name of the chapter is confidential knowledge, but he's saying that you can get this knowledge by practicing it. That is the difference
Mm-hmm.
between confidential knowledge and other type of knowledge, where you sit with a textbook, you discuss with your friends. Of course, this chapter also you can do that, but this
Mm-hmm.
you get most benefit if you practice this knowledge. And that is
Mm-hmm.
what towards the last words Lord Krishna is explaining how you practice. You know, you think of me, then you pay obeisances. When you do all those things, right? You pray me, worship me, you will naturally come in contact with other devotees.
Mm-hmm.
You do with other devotees, and then it becomes very joyful, right? In the like the in ISKCON temple, how we do, right? We have prasadam, we have singing, dancing. Those are the joy.
Homas, yajnas, or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
we do
So
all
that is
that. Yeah.
so Homa Yagya is actually in this Kali Yuga, the Homa Yagya is Sankirtan
Mm-hmm.
Yagya. The
Okay.
Sankirtan Yagya, what we do,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically, singing the names of the Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the Hari Kirtan or Hari Sankirtan, right? What we
Mm-hmm.
do is actually the Yagya of this Kali Yuga.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that is what Lord Krishna is explaining, that this is joyfully performed. It is joyfully
Okay.
performed. But when you perform that, don't think that that is you are engaged in some kind of mundane music and dance. No, you are actually engaged in the highest activity, because if you do that, you will remember Krishna throughout your life, and when you leave this body, that is the ultimate goal actually. So all these activities, right? Ultimate goal is whom you remember when you leave this body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is the ultimate goal. So here in this most confidential knowledge, Lord Krishna is explaining that in detail, that when you worship a particular demigod or worship your Pitri, then that is what you will remember when you leave the body. Because worship means what? Worship means always, in your mind, that is what is going on, right? So remember that thing, and that is where you will go. That is what Lord Krishna is saying, right? When you will remember, about the demigods, you are worshipping them, then that is where you will go in the world of demigod. And when you worship me, you will remember me, so you will come to me.
Yep.
So that is this, and it is most confidential because Lord Krishna is saying in the beginning itself that he is not part of this world, but yet he is present in this world.
And then he's telling that I'm with you, I'm in front of you, but you have to find me, right?
Yeah. So that is exactly. So you have to, and that is what Lord Krishna, and if you were interested, you read the 10th chapter by yourself, you go and read the 10th chapter, then you will understand what is Lord Krishna saying in the first few verses of the 9th chapter. And when he's saying, I am not present in his personal form, in my personal form, I am not present in this world. But in my impersonal form, I am present in everything in this world. And then further in the 10th chapter, he's giving some examples. Like when you think of, Aravata, he is actually, I am that Aravata. Lord Krishna is saying, he's the best of the elements. And then when you see sun and moon, those are my eyes. Remember, when you drink water, that sweet taste of water, that sweet taste is me. So that is how we are absorbed. Then we are absorbed in Krishna. That is how in 10th chapter we then in full glory we understand what Lord Krishna is explaining in the 9th chapter, that how he pervades everywhere in his impersonal form. So when you drink water, you get the sweet taste. You don't find any Krishna there, but you get sweet taste. But Lord Krishna is saying that sweet taste is me.
So he's constantly reminding Arjuna that this is he, this is him,
Yes.
and he has to focus, he has to find. So he's giving him all the steps, right?
All the steps. He's giving all.
And okay, that's good. This middle karma yoga is easy to understand, and jnana yoga we know, but bhakti yoga is kind of in between, right? It's a little tricky. It's tricky. Yeah. Yes.
It's tricky. Yeah. It's simple, but it's tricky. Yeah. If you have faith, then it is very simple. Otherwise,
It's
like me, most of the people, right? The people who don't have faith, it becomes tricky. Basically, you are correct.
yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Haribol, thank you. Thank you for asking the question.
Thank you.
Okay, dear devotees, it's already 8:33. We are supposed to be over by 8:30. So we'll again, please forgive me for any logistical difficulties, anything wrong I have said, and anything correct I have said. That is all because of the previous acharyas and how they've explained in the spiritual books, in our bhakti books, bhakti scriptures. So thank you again. So we'll now close the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
कृपा सिंधुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की. Thank you, devotees.
Jai Prabhupada ki jai.